Good morning, Sarah Winnemucca Wolves. All right, we have a very silly story for you today. It is called Sassy, Gracie by James Sage and illustrated by Pierre Pratt. Published by Dutton Children's Book in New York. Let me turn this around for you guys. Sassy Gracie. Sassy Gracie had a pair of big red shoes with big red heels that she loved to pieces. When she went prancing about in them, which cook said was far too often, they sounded like this. Clunkety-clunk, clunkety-clunk. Stop that dancing, Sassy Gracie. It's getting on my nerves. That's the cook. And Sassy Gracie. Now, one day, which happened to be Cook's day off, the master of the big house came to see Sassy Gracie in the kitchen. He walked with a big stick, which sounded like this. Bumpity-bump, bumpity-bump, bumpity-bump. Sassy Gracie, I'm expecting a very important guest for dinner. 2 roast chickens will do nicely. So, Sassy Gracie hurried off to the market, clunkety-clunk, clunkety-clunk, and bought 2 of the plumpest little chickens she could find. Then she hurried back to the big house. There she is, silly girl. Well, there wasn't much to do while the chickens were roasting, except kick up her heels by the stoves. And the more Sassy Gracie kicked up her big red heels, the more she felt like dancing. Cook not being here now to stop me, you know. So she did. She danced all around the kitchen, clunkety-clunk, clunkety-clunk, down the hall, clunkety-clunk, around the best sitting room, clunkety-clunk, through the dining room, and in and out of the master's library. And back to the kitchen. Whew, dancing can sure wear you out. Now, by this time, the chickens had cooked to a perfect golden brown, but the guest had still not appeared. Sassy Gracie went to see the master. If that guest of yours doesn't show up soon, my chickens will be ruined. So the master sent the stable boy to look for his guest. Sassy Gracie went clunkety-clunk back to the kitchen and took the chickens out of the oven. As the chickens sat there cooling, Sassy Gracie began to wonder if they really were cooked through. So she thought she had better take a little nibble of one. Well, the wing's okay, but who knows about that drumstick? She had another little nibble, just to make sure, and another, until the chicken was no more. Then a spiky carcass of well-picked bones. Eating all that chicken made her feel so frisky that she started dancing all over again. Out the back door, into Cook's kitchen garden, through the stable yard, over the bridge, and across the meadow. And back to the kitchen, where she noticed the second chicken still cooling on the table, and she began to wonder if it could possibly be as well cooked as the first. Well, there was only one way to find out, and that's to taste it. After all, every good cook is allowed to nibble now and then. And soon, the second chicken was no more than a spiky carcass of well-picked bones. My, oh my! That sure was tasty, if I do say so myself. And then she heard the master call. Sassy Gracie! Sassy Gracie! My guest is arriving! Get the dinner ready! Oh no! What was Sassy Gracie gonna do now? She had eaten both chickens. Well, this is what she did. She scooted out of the back door around the house to the front, clunkety-clunk, 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 where she bumped into the guest coming up the walk. Mister, are you ever in trouble? If I were you, I'd hot-foot at home while this going is good. Because you're so late, my master is planning to give you 2 big bumps on your head with his walking stick. Listen, you can hear him coming now. The guest listened, and sure enough, this is what he heard. Bumpity-bump, bumpity-bump, bumpity-bump. So, naturally, he took off running in the opposite direction while Sassy Gracie scooted back to the house. Clunkety-clunk, clunkety-clunk, clunkety-clunk. That's a fine guest you... Oh, sorry, I missed something. So naturally, he took off running in the opposite direction while Sassy Gracie scooted back into the house to speak to the master. That's a fine guest you invited, she said. He's run off with my 2 roast chickens. The master was very annoyed. You don't say! Both roasted chickens? At least he could have left me one to eat. And away he ran, waving his walking stick in the air and shouting, Stop! Only one! All I want is one! But the poor guest, thinking his host now meant to give him 1 big bump on the head, instead of 2, ran all the faster. And Sassy Gracie, well, she went prancing up the stairs, clunkety-clunk, to her little room, to the top of the house, clunkety-clunk, and popped herself on her big brass bed, clunk, where she kicked off 1 big red shoe with its big red heel, clunk, and the other big red shoe with its big red heel, clunk. And before she knew it, she was fast asleep. And did she snore, having danced all day and eaten so much chicken? You bet she did. The end. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed our story for the day. Sorry, little wiggly there at the end. I can't wait to see you guys, and I hope you all are doing well. Remember to take good care of yourselves, and I hope you enjoyed the story time. Love you. Bye.